Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast with your host, Lorna Poole, sharing the secrets to creating wealth, investing, and that all-important money mindset. To find out more and accelerate your journey to financial freedom, head on over to www.lornapoole.com to get started. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Would you love to have peace around money? The philosophy behind the practice and manage your money peacefully. It doesn't have to be stressful. Well, my guest expert today is Christine Moriarty, and she is a financial speaker, author, and coach. She has been quoted extensively in publications including US Today, Good Keeping, the Boston Globe, as well as several books, including Living Your Joy. Christine has earned a BS in finance, MBA in entrepreneurship, and is a certified financial planner. She is dedicated to empowering others around their money so they can achieve their dreams. Christine, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Lorna.
When we first got to know each other, so many people make money out to be like it can cause a lot of pain for so many people. So how can they get their money to work for them and have peace around it?
Well, first of all, they have to be willing to look at it because there's a combination of behavior. It's not just about amounts, it's about a state of mind. So there's a state of mind that's involved. There's our behavior around money. And there's also sound financial principles. So with Money Peace, that's what I try to merge all three. Some people only look to one area to fix it. Like, oh, if I follow the financial rules, I'll be fine. But they get tripped up. Or some people sit and say, oh, I'll sit here and focus on abundance.
Yes. And not do anything.
And not do anything. That doesn't do so well. So it is a combination of making all of these things work together and really knowing the inside of yourself so that you can create the outside the way you want it, what your values, what your priorities are inside, and reflect. And then you can take action.
Why, I hear this come up again and again. I'd love you to explain it. Why do we always start with, you need to know your values, you need to know your priority? Why is that such an important piece?
I'll give you an example, Lorna. I'm originally from Boston, and some people would recognize my Boston accent still there, hiding out. But what happens is I didn't want to live in Boston, and it didn't match. So I up and moved myself and my business to Vermont, which is rural and small. Knowing that, I wake up every day happy. I'm not saying it wasn't financially stressful or that I didn't get a little bit lonely just taking off as a single woman up to Vermont 22 years ago. However, it was really what I wanted and what resonated with me, to be somewhere quiet, rural, where I could live. Knowing that and feeling comfortable deep down inside, it makes it easier for the rest of life. Instead of, some people love being in the city and love the rat race and don't mind all that. And that's their value. So then they work from that. And knowing that ahead of time, we're not comparing our insides with other people's outsides. So we're not saying, oh, they have a nicer car and they go on more trips and they do this. It doesn't matter because you know what you want.
Yeah. And ultimately, when we are happy internally, brings a sense of natural peace.
Right. That you said that better than I could. So thank you. Yes. And when you have that natural peace, you can make such better decisions around your life and your money.
Yeah. And I have found, in my journey that when I'm happiest, I can achieve more, I take more action, you're in the framework to make it happen for yourself. But when we're fighting a battle with ourselves, it can come all consuming
Right. And those of us who have been there and struggled through something know what our values and priorities are. They've come hard earned. But when we can be conscious around our choices, we are so much better off and so much more peaceful instead of just trying to fill the holes. I see people running around, and it can be in quiet Vermont, rural Ireland. It could be, in the cities of Dublin or New York City, and they're running fast and they just are grabbing things and throwing it on their credit card or making investments because someone said, oh, invest in this, it's perfect. But they're not bouncing it off what are their own insides telling them. So then they get stressed because they've overspent or they didn't really like that investment, or it goes up or it goes down. And there's more to it than just how much money. Again, it's what's your state of mind.
And if someone's listening to this today and they're resonating with what you're saying, Christine, but they're far from a peace in their state of mind, what would be their first step?
The first step, I would say, is think about the 3 most important things in your life. Most people want to jump in and say finances. Okay, finances because it's stressful right now. Then what are the other 2? It could be family, it could be work, it could be what's really important to you, making a difference in the world, whatever it is. Second is, so once you know that, you can say, I need to make my conscious choices based on those 3 things. Then from a practical standpoint, bringing in the solid financial advice, look at where you stand financially. Sometimes people don't look, then they don't look at their bills thinking they'll go away. Or they don't look at their debt and say, what's the interest rate? So if you sit down and put the numbers in black and white, and I literally mean black and white by hand, before you move them to the computer, you can actually say, oh, look it, this is how much money I owe. This is how much I have, and I have a job. That helps by seeing it conscious. Then you can make some practical choices. And it makes it a more peaceful life if you say, I'm moving towards this. I'm moving towards getting out of debt. Or I'm not going out to dinner with the girls on Friday night because we're saving towards a house. And I'd rather have that money go towards a house. It helps frame everything.
Yeah, and I love the way you said, I love the way you bring in the state of mind and the inner game, as well as, okay, let's look at this practically. What are the numbers? What's black and white here?
Right.
Because as you said in the beginning, I find coaches are sometimes one extreme one and one extreme the other. And like yourself, I believe you need to tack from both.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I call myself is a holistic financial educator. And I do that because I earned every single credential that I thought was important to practice personal financial planning in the States. From the college degree to the graduate degree to the series, to the certification in financial planning that's in Europe as well. And then I found that people weren't listening to my advice. And I finally brought in my own personal growth work of what I had been doing and exploring on that internal path. And within a few sessions, everyone was like reflective and really making progress in their finances because I took the time to do that. So I've seen other coaches out there, and some of them don't have an understanding of personal finance, but are great coaches on every other level. Some financial coaches are trained as coaches, and they have personal experience of their own in financial coaching because they got out of debt. Finding the combination of someone who talks about financial therapy, your behavior, personal growth, to build the quality of life you deserve, I have found is really rare. It's growing in the industry. And so I'm delighted to get the message out to everybody that there's so many tricks in this, but the biggest trick is know yourself inside and then make decisions that you feel good about. Slow down to make those decisions that you feel good about.
Know yourself inside and decisions, yes. And what about, the behavior, the repetitive patterns, behavior that people have?
The easiest one, that I can pick on is debt, because I know that's what stresses a lot of people out. And if someone has a credit card or debt that is getting out of control, I say first and foremost, stop using your credit card, stop debting, stop borrowing from friends, from family, stop getting paychecks ahead of time. Whatever it is, just stop that, because you got to slow down. Filling that void constantly doesn't allow you time to catch your breath. And if you stop and say, I don't have money and I'm not borrowing more on debt, what do I do first and next, rather than borrow debt? So that's one important thing. And another behavior is a lot of people do not save money. So they say, oh, I don't have debt, but I haven't been able to save anything. And I ask them, where does your paycheck go? And they say, it goes in my checking account every month. And I tell them, a checking account's meant to be spent. That's why it's a checking account. But if you take $20, 20 euros, 5 pounds, and just put that money directly in a savings account each paycheck, slowly you'll have some savings built up. And that's kind of like putting our good behavior aside. And good behavior, good health, we're stockpiling a little bit of cash just so that we have it, and we're putting ourselves first. So I say, rah, let's put some money in savings, no matter what your financial situation, even if it's change when you come home at night, and that's the best you can do, but just collect something, because that is taking care of yourself first.
In my experience, even on my own growth journey and working with others, no matter how little money you think you earn, which is, people can earn big money and think they've no money. It's there, but it's where you're putting it.
Right. Well said. It's there. It's coming in, and it is where you're putting it. And I have found repeatedly that once people start to be proactive about changing their situation, which means changing a behavior, we're not going to get this, we're going to keep getting the same thing unless we do change our behavior. If we keep doing the same things will happen. So by changing our behavior a little bit, we're voting for ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I have seen miracles, there's no other way to call them, miracles happen to people once they get their finances organized in a way that's taking care of themselves. I had a gentleman who 3 years after his parents had passed away, he got a check for $5,000 that he didn't even know was coming from their estate, because he had already put everything in order. People get different jobs, people have gifts, things come in and land really well in their lap, because they're prepared in a good way, as opposed to trying to fill a void or an empty hole when they're panicked around their money.
And I've also, as we've been speaking, Christine, I'd love to talk to you more about this. As you're speaking, I can hear an underlying thread of self-love in, saving for yourself, putting money first for you, getting your finances in order. Why is there such a correlation between how you treat yourself and how you treat your money?
Because money, even though we put it out there that money's good or bad, or people with a lot of money are bad, and oh my God, the poor people that are out there in the world are run down, the truth of the matter is money is just a form of energy. It's just green energy. It's paper. It's like saying movies are bad. They're just a thing. And by taking care of ourselves, we then reflect that out into the world, which attracts more good things. And the good side of money can be one of those things.
And what about, I see a lot of financial coaches talking about mindset, clearing debt and all that. What about investing when it's new to you? Because it's amazing when you start to put your energy towards passive income, getting your money to work for you, compounding and all that, how it really is very possible for more people out there than people realize, because I know when I started my journey, I used to think I had to be so rich to do this, that I had to earn a 6-figure income and all this kind of stuff. And that's not necessarily true. It's amazing how once you change your state of mind and your behavior and you start working towards it, how really you can start multiplying your money very quickly once you put your energy there and get going.
Right. And so I would say, first things first, you just need to take care of managing your money on a daily basis. Yeah. And once you have that routine down, move up to looking at what else is out there. A lot of companies have work plans that you can contribute to as far as mutual funds and all that. You can look online for information. You can, talk to people, there's a lot of free seminars out there. There's tons of books. And one of my favorites is Financial Planning for Dummies. Not on my recommendation. Clients have come back and said, tell people about this book. And then you can look at investments as long as you know, is someone selling me this investment or is this my choice? Because a lot of times someone will say, you can buy this, and you have to do it by Friday or else the deal's going to be gone. And that, I say, run the other way. I typically say there should be more than 2 choices to make a healthy decision. So if someone said, you got to invest in this or not, well, there must be an option. Maybe I can invest a little bit in that.
Well, Christine, doesn't that come back to the work you've done in the beginning about what's my values, what my priority, all that foundation work you did before you got to this point?
Exactly.
So that when you meet these people, you can say, that's for me, that's not for me.
That's exactly where it's reflected. So yes, Lorna, thanks for picking up what I was saying very well. And the other thing is to know what you're willing to trade off to build that money. So for example, my dad was an Irish immigrant, which is why I'm loving hearing your accent. And he was also a carpenter, but he loved real estate. So he would buy it, fix it up, sell it, or rent it and all that. Well, I have none of those skills. I know he did well financially, and I could learn those skills. If I chose to be a landlord or I chose to deal in real estate, I could. That's not where my energy or desire is. So I tell people, don't jump into things just because it's a moneymaker. Make sure it aligns with who you are. I
love that. I absolutely love that. I think that's a great finishing note. Make sure it aligns with who you are.
That's what I'm about. Let's make sure everything that you can make conscious choices, have some attentive planning, and really be in alignment for that peaceful life.
So in our whole conversation, the message I'm getting from this, Christine, is be true to you.
Be true to you and follow your heart, even when it comes to money.
Yeah. And when we do this, things tend to work out, huh?
Absolutely. That is exactly it. When we put ourselves first.
Christine, I'd love to hear from our conversation, your kind of one message that someone's listening to this. We're talking about being in alignment, and I think that's huge. What do you want to say to them? What do you want to leave them with?
I want to leave them with really make those conscious choices. So first find your values so you know what your priorities are, and then make those conscious choices. And with a little bit of planning, you'll have that great life that's more peaceful.
Love it. Christine, how do we find out more about you?
It's very simple. Money Peace, PEACE.com. And for your listeners, Lorna, if they sign up for my email newsletter, that's right there on the homepage. It's free. By June 30th, I'm going to do a drawing for one of my books and mail it off to anyone in the world for just signing up for my newsletter. And the bonus for everybody is they'll get a monthly newsletter, how to create more financially peaceful life.
Love it, Christine. Thank you for being here. This has been amazing.
I've enjoyed every minute of it. Have a blessed day.
Hey everyone, remember to join us in the Private Financial Freedom Podcast Facebook group with me, your host, Lorna Poole. This is a safe haven of like-minded, wealth-getting go-getters who, like you, are on their journey to creating financial freedom in their life. This is where you and I can get intimate. I can give you the support and guidance to go from where you are now to where you want to be, developing your wealth mindset and creating your financial freedom life. Join at www.facebook.com/groups The Financial Freedom Podcast. You will see the links to this on the website. It's in the show notes, or type it into the Facebook group. All you have to type in is Financial Freedom Podcast and you will see us there. Look forward to seeing you in the group. Take care. Thank you for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast, to creating wealth, investing, and developing your money mindset. To get started today on your journey, head on over to www.lornapoole.com and grab your free course, 5 Steps to Breaking Free from Your Poverty Mindset and Accelerating Your Journey to Financial Freedom. See you there.